Hey, Dr. Evan here. In today's Flea Mail blog, we will go over the basics of heartworm, what it is, how it differs from other parasites, how to prevent it, and what to do if you suspect that your pet has been infected. Now, there may be a lot of information to digest in this blog particularly, but it's important to know because heartworm is not something that you want your pet to ever get. Heartworm, or Diroflaria immitis, is a parasitic worm that lives in the blood vessels of your pet, like their hearts, arteries, and lungs, where they feed on blood and can grow up to a whopping 12 inches long. Now, the heartworm life cycle generally starts with a mosquito biting an infected dog, then the same mosquito feeding on another animal, introducing larvae into their bodies via the mosquito's saliva. Heartworm larvae can stay in a pet's body for up to a year before reaching adulthood and moving on to the heart, where they will reside, mate, and produce even more heartworm larvae. Heartworm can be found basically Australia-wide. Even though cases are far more common on the east coast of Australia, the best way to think about heartworm is this. If you have ever seen a mosquito where you live, your pet is at risk of heartworm. Heartworm is very serious business. It can cause severe damage or even death if not treated in time. Some of the problems heartworm may cause are heart disease, severe lung disease, potential organ damage and even failure, fluid building up in the abdomen called peritonitis, and ultimately death if left untreated. Now, while primarily affecting dogs, it is now quite common in Australian cats too. However, how they will affect your pet is very, very different. The dog is what's called a natural host for heartworm, meaning that the entire life cycle is undertaken in a dog. If untreated, their numbers can increase, and dogs have been known to harbour several hundred worms in their bodies. Now, heartworm disease causes lasting damage to the heart, lungs, and arteries, and can affect the dog's health and quality of life long after the parasites are gone. And for this reason, prevention is by far the best option, and treatment, when needed, should be administered as early in the course of the disease as possible. Heartworm disease in cats is not the same as dogs. The cat is what we call an atypical host for heartworms, and most worms in cats do not survive to the adult stage. However, cats with adult heartworm typically have just 1 to 3 worms, and many cats affected by heartworm don't actually have any adults. While this means heartworm disease often goes undiagnosed in cats, it's important to understand that even immature worms can cause real damage in the form of a condition known as heartworm-associated respiratory disease, or makes it hard to breathe. Moreover, the medications used to treat heartworms infections in dogs can't be used in cats as it's exceedingly poisonous, so prevention is the only means of protecting your cat from the effects of heartworm disease, making it wildly important for your little floof. Initially, you're not going to see much, which is a problem because there's a bit of a lead time between the original infection and an owner noticing. It can even be up to a couple of years. All the while, this crawly little bugger is doing unseen and untold damage to your pet. Signs of heartworm disease in dogs may include a mild persistent cough, especially in the morning, reluctance to exercise, fatigue after just moderate activity, and a decreased appetite and weight loss. Dogs with large numbers of heartworm can develop a sudden blockage of blood flow within the heart, leading to life-threatening form of cardiovascular collapse called Cavell syndrome, and is marked by a sudden onset of laboured breathing, pale gums, collapse, and also dark, bloody or coffee-coloured urine. Without prompt surgical removal of the heartworm blockage, unfortunately, very few, if any, dogs survive. For cats, it's very hard to see any signs of heartworm infection on the outside, if at all or ever, but just know they are surely causing havoc internally. As heartworm disease progresses, pets may develop heart failure and the appearance of a swollen belly due to excess fluid in the abdomen, a condition called peritonitis. There are quick and easy heartworm tests you can have your veterinarian run. They do this by taking a blood sample and checking for heartworm antibodies. But, as I'm sure you know, vets aren't always cheap, so the best and cheapest way to fight heartworm is with preventative medications. As we know, parasites are always around, regardless of the season, which is why it's important to keep your pet on regular preventative medications throughout the year. This can be done either at a vet clinic, where they will administer heartworm prevention medication as an injection, or you can have easy to administer chews or spot-ons delivered to your pet's door by one of our veterinarians at Flea Mail when it's due, for less than going to a clinic or pet store yourself. This is really important and makes heartworm prevention very different to other parasites. Because of the life cycle, the only heartworm that are susceptible to preventative treatments are the microfilaria, or the baby heartworm. Once heartworm gets older, these preventatives will no longer work. Some of them, we're looking at you next garden, Milbamax, can actually kill your pet if they have a current heartworm infection due to anaphylaxis. Because of this, these products require a heartworm test before using, and is also one of the many reasons we don't use these products for any of our Flea Mail plans. 1. Cats once infected with heartworm unfortunately cannot be cured, as the medication we use to kill adult heartworm is exceedingly poisonous to cats. 2. Heartworm treatment for a dog is incredibly expensive, very long term, generally medical treatment for months, and may include surgical intervention. If your dog has been diagnosed with non-juvenile heartworm, it can cost anywhere up to $10,000 to fix, and complications can continue for the rest of their life, regardless of the cure. 3, and most importantly, heartworm prevention must be given all year round. So till next time, just remember, as always, prevention is 10 times better and cheaper than the cure, and it is a surefire way to keep your pet happy and healthy all day, every day. Till next time, catches.